Clerk call the roll.
Kavod.
Here.
Dries.
Here.
Halter.
Here.
Hermes.
Here.
Lee.
Here.
Walther.
Here.
Moore.
Here. Okay, we have a prayer by Mr. Halter.
Dear Heavenly Father, we just look to you for wisdom. We pray that you would help us to serve this community and make wise decisions throughout this evening. We also remember Linda Walterman and the former council member Bud Walterman, and we just ask that you would bless him and give him and his family peace through the loss of Linda. And we just thank you for this opportunity to serve you. In Jesus' name I pray.
Amen.
Amen.
Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have the minutes of the regular council meeting February 23rd, 2016, and the council work session of March 8, 2016. Are there any corrections to the minutes? Hearing none, minutes are approved. And this is the time for citizens to comment on matters before council or to ask questions of concern to them. When recognized, please come forward to the lectern, give your name and address, and state your comments and question. Council meetings are tape recorded for ease of transcription. Comments are limited to 3 minutes. Anyone? All right, reports of village officials.
Well, that was
Are you ready?
fast. I think so, yes, thank you. Okay, let me get my notes. One of the first things I'm going to go ahead and mention is there's a public record training session on April 1st. I don't know how many folks are signed up for it, but I believe, and Jeff, correct me if I'm wrong, that is it any member of council if they want us? I'll be going, Matt Sanders, a number of us are going. If they want us to be like representing them, we can do that if they take some action.
Right, what the statute says is each elected official has to attend that at some point during their term, or they can designate someone to attend on their behalf. Typically, what we do is, if you want to do that, we would do a motion to designate someone as that designee. That way it's in the minutes, and if anybody ever wants to check, there would be a record of who that designee was.
Okay, so just know that a few of us are going. If anybody wants to designate us,
Okay.
we will be there.
I already registered for it. So
I'm sorry?
I will be going, I already registered online.
Okay, yes, and I'm registered, Matt's registered, Kathy, we're going, so I know.
I've registered.
Oh, okay.
And I'm hoping I can go.
Sounds like we're going to be there. Anybody else?
We just have to go once per our term.
Just a clarification. If you did it your first 4 years of service, do you have to redo it?
Yes.
Okay.
Each term.
Yes.
Okay.
So do you need a designee?
I'll try to attend.
I think we ought to make a motion to do the designee, and
You can make a motion to do the designee. Anyone who wants to attend, still attend.
Okay.
If anyone is unable to attend, then at least
That's what I'm worried
You
about,
have
that
3 more
something's gonna come up.
opportunities, or 3 more years. It doesn't have to be
Right.
in your first year, it
Right.
just has to be during your term.
What was the date?
if you're in your first term, or if this is the first year of your term.
Yes, but
Yeah.
the
If
rest
this is
of
the
it,
third year of your
Yeah.
term, then you may not have so many opportunities.
Well, I did it in my first year of my term, so I'm good.
did it my first year.
Okay. Same. All right, well, maybe consider a motion to shotgun coverage if need be, when the time
Later on.
comes
Yes.
at the end for
Okay.
motions.
Tell you what, let me go ahead and pass these out. My second item, at a previous meeting, you asked me to bring a recommendation regarding the pool rate issue that we had discussed in length, and I can tell you where I am right now. It's the item at the top is my recommendation. We have, if you look down, the first page that you have in front of you is Greenhills. We have always been at under 2. If you recall, which is on the second page, we took a look at the other communities that are open to have non-residents come. They are at 2 and under. So my suggestion at this point is we alter it to the 2 and under, but keep the rest of our fee schedule the same at this point in time. I have a few reasons for that. First of all, I've not been able to come up with any data that really supports this as an issue for us. Revenue for walk-ins, the gate fees have been pretty consistent. We're not seeing a trend there that would cause us to believe that we have an issue. I did talk at length with SwimSafe, who contacted as many managers as possible to see if they were aware of the issue. They were not. The 2 and under does make us consistent with those other communities, so I think we're in good there. And again, I think I said this the last time, and I feel strongly that age 12 is the age when they can go into our pool as adults. So to change that any further, I would have to question why. It just doesn't seem like this is a good time to be altering those fees. I would suggest, and we now have the ability on our cash register to know who's coming in at each category. We didn't have that till mid-year last year, so I can't give you the full swim season. But I can tell you that the 2 categories of youth and adults were like 70-some odd % of the revenue, so I wouldn't really want to start screwing around with that large of a chunk of our revenue. And that was for just a portion of the year. So again, I would like to take this year to very closely monitor who's coming in, who's paying what, and make a better informed decision towards the end of the year as we go into next year's fee schedule. But again, to be consistent with the others, to raise, as opposed to under 2, to make it 2 and under.
So if we adopt your recommendation, since it is a slight change to the current fee schedule, do we have to make some kind of, we have to have a motion to do that?
By motion, would that be sufficient?
I think it would be sufficient unless your rates are not, they haven't been incorporated in your codified.
No.
No.
Not
No,
the
it's-
rates.
No.
No, we just have a fee schedule, and I think we did a resolution at the,
I think we have enough time that we can do it at the next full meeting, adopt them. There's no reason to do it today.
yeah.
There's no emergency right now.
So that way it gives you enough time to either update the resolution and,
Just to amend the fee schedule?
Yeah,
Is
that's
that
what I was going
you
to say.
wanna
If
do?
it's part of your
Okay.
fee schedule, which is approved by resolution, you could just do a resolution
Okay.
modifying the fee schedule.
Awesome.
Okay, I wanted to make you aware of some work that you may see going on. Actually, maybe you already saw some going on at the Commons. We had a number of big tree stumps that had to be removed. Those have been removed. We've also had our arborists take a look at a few that are actually on the Endicott side, 2 of them being 2 big corner pieces that are actually on the Commons, and then there are 3 smaller trees. They are declining, and we will probably be taking those down soon to avoid any kind of issues. So I just want you to know what's going on there. And then the final thing I do want to report is that we learned today that the shopping center is likely to be under new ownership as soon as next week. So,
And there's no more meat to that piece of
no, I'm sorry,
information.
there's no more need to that.
Just handle it out
It's
there.
one of
But
those.
it's big news for us, that's for sure. So,
Have you met them?
as part of that process, where will there be back taxes and stuff being made
I-
whole?
we don't have the details, but I...
Should be, if
Should be.
Okay.
should be.
So that's an actual closing that's scheduled.
That's what we've heard,
Okay.
yes. As we get more information, I'll certainly let you know, but...
Thank
Okay,
you.
that concludes my report right now.
And appreciate your work on that. So,
All right, that it?
Yes, sir.
Any questions? All right, Law Director Jeff Forbes.
Thank you, Mayor. No report tonight.
Okay, Clerk of Council Catherine Lives.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would report to you that the February 2016 calendar and resolution numbers 201603S&S and 201604F were posted as required. Additionally, notice of the Tax Assistance Day for Greenhills income tax payers was posted on March 9, 2016. The Laws and Rules Committee of March 7th and the Recreation Committee meetings were also posted as required. And if there are any questions, that would conclude my report.
Okay. All right, hearing no questions. Chief of Police, Neil Furman.
Thanks, Mayor. We do have additional work continuing on our general orders project. It is going more slowly than I would like, but it is going. We did get one order completed last month, and we're working towards completion of another about 20-some general orders by the end of the year is our target date. We completed our very first Citizens Police Academy last month. I believe, and Councilman Walter Willard can certainly offer a different view, but I think that it was a success. We had very positive feedback from participants that were involved in the program. It was probably a bit hurried because we hadn't done this before, and we put a lot of items within the four weeks of academy. We're planning on re-offering that again come fall. Our tentative timetable is from the middle of September through the end of October. It will be a 6-week program this time. So we think it's going to be very interesting for anyone that wants to sign up, and I'm pleased to report that we already have, I believe it's 3 applicants at the moment. So we're going to continue to tell people about that and enroll residents into that program. We're also participating in an initiative that was started by Chief Vincent DeMasi of Mount Healthy through a grant that he is obtaining through the University of Cincinnati's Criminal Justice Program, and it will involve a partnership between us, them, and our surrounding communities to include Forest Park, Coleraine Township, Springfield Township, North College Hill, and it will involve crime analysis. And what we hope to do is continue to meet, as we started last month, the police chiefs and their support staffs, discuss crime issues that involve all of our communities, and the analysts that are graduate students from the University of Cincinnati will be involved in analyzing that data and hopefully providing us with a little bit of information that can be helpful in predicting when those crimes could occur. They have some expected benefits that they've told us about, and that's reduction in crime, identification of recidivists or repeat criminals who commit property and other crimes that cross jurisdictional borders, identification of known gangs or groups working collaboratively on criminal activity, development of data-driven predictive crime prevention strategies so we can predict maybe what is coming based on what has happened, development of an early warning system, and some other benefits that we hope will show as we continue through this program. And incidentally, it comes to us at no cost, so that's the kind that we like. We worked with the municipal manager on development of an ordinance that you should be seeing in the coming weeks relating to related legislation governing portable storage devices, and that would deal specifically with their removal or impoundment. During the month of February, and all of our police chiefs, as we met on crime, we noted that crime has been down, which is traditional for this time of year. But we only investigated 5 accidents, down from 6 in February. 6 crimes. Those were up here in Greenhills, up from 3 last February. 150 other incidents. We made 542 contacts, and 234 of those were dispatched by the comm center or received by telephone, as compared to 210 last February. And 308 of those contacts were self-initiated by our officers. The department provided assistance to the public 81 times, assisted other agencies 36 times, and we made 43 criminal arrests and 52 traffic arrests. And I wanted to point out 2 incidences that involved 2 of our officers. The first was on March 8th, a resident in the I section contacted me regarding a recent call to his home that was handled by Officer Andy Moore. And Officer Moore received a letter of commendation, and in that it said, "The boy's father told me today that you were caring, sympathetic, and encouraging towards his son, and it has left a significant impression upon him both as a father and in his job as a Cincinnati police officer. It is another important reminder that the things we do that are all in a day's work leave a lasting impression on others." And then just recently on March 18th, Officer Patton responded to Palma Park to investigate the report of a young man who was homeless and had slept there all night. That night, overnight temperatures were just above freezing. They were in the low 40s. Man was fairly cold. He warmed up at police headquarters. We made him some hot chocolate. And after some telephone calls, Officer Patton found a shelter in Cincinnati that would accept him, transported him there, and on the way there, the young man mentioned to Tony that I haven't eaten in 2 days. So Tony took him through the McDonald's down the street, and he was so hungry that Tony brought him both breakfast and lunch. So that was the kind of things that you don't normally see on the nightly news. Thanks, Mayor.
Any questions or comments of the chief?
I have not filled out the comment sheet yet because I had my hands full during that month.
I thought we were missing one.
I know. You're worried, aren't you?
I am.
No, it would be positive. The only thing that I want to bring up is the fact that I would like to see a segue from those that are graduated into some other possibility within the community as a neighborhood watch or anything like that, because if you look at all of us there, we are all different streets altogether, and we could be instrumental in starting something at some point in time with your guidance.
Funny that you should mention that.
Okay.
We have, the manager and I have talked about, she's going to allow me to tag along when she has some community meetings in the park, and we thought that we would involve Citizens Police Academy grads from those neighborhoods in those talks, and we're also talking about setting up a repeat of our community-wide crime prevention / neighborhood watch meeting that we had late last fall or early winter. And that would be essentially a repeat for those who didn't have the opportunity to come. We thought that we would also mention the Citizens Police Academy there and give out some of those crime prevention tips, and then that would then result in the neighborhood meetings that the manager and I will be doing. And then in addition to that, we were contacted for the concert series that the police will be recognized in early June, and we're going to ask our Citizens Police Academy to actually facilitate that entire presentation.
Thank you, Chief.
Okay, anybody to report anything for the fire chief? Okay, all right. Mayor's report, I have the audited court receipts. Report for the month of February 2016. The county received $69, the state received $2,119, and $10,225 went into the Village of Greenhills coffers. That was a grand total of $12,413 on Mayor's Court. Also, I have a couple proclamations, and I'm not going to read them in its entirety. One is declaring proclamation for trees in the urban forests and the importance of them within the village. And I'm proclaiming April the 29th, 2016 as Arbor Day in the Village of Greenhills, and urge all citizens to support efforts to protect and nurture our trees and urban forests, not just for the beauty they provide, but for the benefits that they give our residents and community. And so this will be posted in the public posting places, and Yvonne will be putting it online. So it'll be easier for people to read it than listen to me stumble through it here. And then I have another proclamation for autism, and declaring the month of April 2016 as Autism Awareness Month, and April the 2nd as World Autism Awareness Day in the Village of Greenhills to raise public awareness of autism and the myriad of issues surrounding autism, as well as increased knowledge of the programs that have been and are being developed to support individuals with autism and their families. And so this also will be posted and put online. All right, and unless there are any questions, that's it for my report.
You mentioned Arbor Day. Do we have any time frame and celebration?
I think it's 10:30. We're still working on some of the details.
On the 20th?
On April 29th, yes.
10:30, you said?
Yeah, but we are still working on the
Tentatively.
details of
Okay.
it for the tree planting.
All right.
The tree has been already ordered, so there will be a tree. And it will be a linden tree.
Great.
There were several varieties, and there's only one that was available, and that's the one we got.
Okay.
But it's a linden tree.
Okay.
All right, moving on, traffic and safety, Melanie Hermes.
We had a joint meeting with the Finance and Audit Committee today. I am going to rely on the Finance and Audit Committee to keep the minutes so that we're not doing duplicate minutes. We went over my name's first. So we also went over the police numbers that the chief went over, so I will not repeat those. And then we had an executive session to talk about compensation, which we hope to bring again at the end of this meeting to talk with the full council. Any questions?
Hearing none, finance and audit, Mr. Dries.
Exactly like Melanie said. The only other thing is I would remind citizens that if they would like to, all our finances are online on the open checkbook, and they can look there and see them. And that concludes my report.
Okay. Questions? All right, recreation cable television, Councilmember Walther.
I'm going to start with the Waycross, the cable. I received a letter saying that for Community Programming Board and CPB Holding, Inc. trustees will complete their current terms this month. And to continue full representation from Forest Park and Greenhills, we need renewed or new appointees. Then I received another memo, and they said that it would be good to have the trustees in place by the June meeting. They're making the deadline May the 6th, so council can make their appointments as the May Greenhills Council meeting occurs. They would like to either fill out an application, either to turn it in here to either me or the village manager, or to Mr. Bergquist at the Waycross Media Center. We had a meeting, and a couple of the things that the highlights of that would be, they had a finance committee report by Melanie Hermes. It has a personnel committee report by Mrs. Nancy Moore. We have a staff reports by Chip and Bergquist, the executive director. Old business was introduced, an update on the project to provide production services to local businesses. Also was a report about the surplus equipment auction that they had, and they brought in about $2,000. And they had a resolution that it was moved to adopt on that meeting about the public access regulations dated March 12 of 2014, that it needed some upgrading. At the time, producers are required, the current rule says, to place a graphic with their name on the program. This change will allow the producers to either use the graphic or state their name verbally. Some producers prefer not to add the graphic to the program. So they said now that all of them will be required to sign a cablecast agreement that covers all of the rules. The next meeting will be Wednesday, June the 8th. Now, having to report for the recreation, we had a committee meeting together with Mr. Cavode, my co-chair. We discussed about the pool, and very diplomatically, Ms. Kovac did not want to mention the fact that the height was discussed, and causing that perhaps I would have to go free because I was the shortest one on the group. So thank you, but I had to bring a little bit of levity today. We also talked about the June the 15th. That is going to be the Pioneer Day, and it's going to be the day at the pool with a makeup day for the Community Day at the pool on the 26th. We were going to try to get together with Swim Safe to do some activities with the pool, and they always are more than wanting to help and to join in. We were also discussing the music aspect of it and a potluck. We also discussed whether we can find different people to be in charge of different activities for exercise, kind of promoting the wellness and the village of exercise. And we thought about having a little soccer match of the Pee-wees with getting contact with Mr. Calvacine. Mr. Suggs will be in charge of golf. And he's has all kinds of ideas about that. We thought perhaps tennis, and Ms. Kovac was going to inquire whether or not Mike will have a softball game that evening as to close up the day on that. Perhaps even a bike race as well. We are hoping that we would have some kind of reunification at that point by Mr. Mayor as to give out some awards of the winners on all these tennis matches or swimming or so forth. And we discussed also the idea of having perhaps medals, which we can just get a red, white, and blue ribbon to put around the medals to give out as prizes afterwards. We discussed about the Harvest Fest. I requested of the commission to have another meeting. The commission meeting would be the 14th of April at 7. And what I requested of them was to bring back some cuts on the original amounts that they had. They said that the amounts that we had were not particularly accurate because some of the things that were purchased were not going to be repurchased. So I wanted to have actually the leanest possible budget that they could come up with. And then at that point, Mr. Kovod and I will have another committee meeting to make a decision upon that. We also discussed that we had no old business to discuss, and under new business, we brought up the fact that Palmer Park has a drainage problem. I don't know if the village manager would like to add anything to that, or what's going on, or what has been done, or any details.
Sure, I can tell you that the mayor and I actually met out on the site with the engineer to take a look at it. They're going to, at this point, we don't know how extensive it would be. He's going to look at a few different scenarios, but we actually own an easement that could provide an additional drainage opportunity that could simplify it, I think, at this point in time.
All right, so the dates that we wanted to bring up in here was the June the 8th for the Waycross meeting at 7, the April the 14th for the Recreation Commission. We have to get into a consensus on the calendar with Mr. Kovod, and when after that,
For the next
April the
committee meeting,
14th, we can meet again to make that decision. And also wanted to bring up to attention of all of council that the Hamilton County Municipal League has a meeting on March the 31st, and that is an Evendale, and it would be at 6:30. If anybody is free, just look online and you can accept an invite there for the council. And that concludes my report, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, any questions or comments? All right, moving on. Intergovernmental Affairs, Laws and Rules, Councilmember Lee.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On March 7th, our committee had a special meeting regarding the dog ordinance, which we will be taking up for a vote here shortly. On that same day, March 7th, I attended the Hamilton County Board of Health annual meeting. The two key points that, besides providing the state of affairs for the Board of Health, generally was an emphasis on two key areas this year. First being what they deem as the heroin epidemic. Their efforts to play a role in that, They see it as a disease as much as a criminal activity. It's a very sobering fact that every other day, one person in Hamilton County dies as a result of an overdose. That's dies. There's still plenty of other incidents of people overdosing and being brought back. It's sad, it's unacceptable, and obviously we all need to find an answer. And I know Chief Herman is active in that and among other county chiefs as well. At your places, I'm trying to prime the pump a little bit. I put a little idea sheet. We're trying to organize a meeting with the school board, and again, had asked previously to come up with some agenda discussion ideas. Feel free to kind of add to the one that I sort of primed the pump with initially, or expound upon that. If you could get those to me within the next week, I'll be meeting with Mr. Jeff Birdie, who's the Greenhills liaison for the school board, and we'll develop an agenda and also some possible dates for that meeting. And the final thing is, currently, Laws and Rules and Intergovernmental Affairs is scheduled to meet next Monday, the 28th at 9 a.m. Currently, I don't have any agenda items unless someone brings forward.
I think you will.
Oh,
You will.
I will have agenda items. I just don't know what they are right now. Thank you, Yvonne. We'll see you Monday morning at 9. That's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay. Any questions?
Yes.
Yeah.
Ordinance number 1 and number 2.
Number 2 needs to be removed from the agenda.
Okay.
Right.
I was going to say, it's
Right.
exactly the same. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
One
We'll do that
says,
when we get to that.
Yeah, the last line was brought up to my attention is the difference, the last sentence. Mr. Lee, would you, how would you accept the topics? Would you like them emailed to you? Would you like it in the mailbox?
However you wish. I mean,
Okay.
yeah, email works best, but that,
Okay. And giving, yeah, the deadline would be, what, April 1st, or you said
well,
sometime next week?
I'm meeting
the
with
first
with
reading on this.
Mr. Birdie next Tuesday, so,
Oh, okay, so you want it by the end of this week then, possibly?
yeah. but,
Okay.
You know,
All right,
gives you the weekend to ponder it.
okay.
Okay. All righty, moving on, Services Streets, Councilmember Cabode.
Nothing right now, Mayor. We do have a meeting scheduled for Monday, the 28th at 8 a.m. And I don't have anything off the top of my head for agendas, but I'll probably come up with something before then for us to discuss.
Lots of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Getting a big agenda for you, too.
Yeah. I will mention, on a personal note, on the 12th, I did attend the Ohio Municipal League seminar over at the Sheraton for 8 hours, which was a bit eye-opening for me as a new council member. And I took a lot of notes and haven't really reviewed them, but there were a lot of ideas and things that I had heard. And I don't know if things have ever been brought up as I'm muddling through my first year, maybe to see what we can do with them. So it was quite eye-opening. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Again, more of that information that I didn't know about, Neil. That ends my report, sir.
There are things we don't tell you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. 180 days is sticking in my head for some reason. I don't know what that was about.
We had the Streets and Services, they came through different streets and had cold patches on the different holes in all the streets.
Oh, want some repairs? Yeah.
Yeah.
Coming out of the pothole season.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, moving on, community development, Mr. Halter.
Yes, thank you.
Councilmember Halter.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As you guys are aware, we're working on the property ownership brochure. I've got some more thoughts that I have to incorporate. The trick is we may have to add a panel if the thoughts keep coming in. But again, very useful information, and your suggestions are really adding to, to the value of this document. And we'll, as soon as I get, if there's any other comments, I think I have some from Maria, and I've got some from the mayor. Yvonne's going to give me a couple more, and I'll incorporate those, and we'll get those printed and decide what's the best way to distribute those. Just as far as the golf course, completed a new set of golf signs. Not a big assignment because the artwork was done, but we were able to get those up. And then also keep in mind the golf course is available for group outings, possible fundraiser for your group, and you can see, go over and see Joel at the golf course, contact him in our office here, and get some details. And great opportunity, great benefit for both the golf course and for the group. And finally, walking paths, almost made it through checking what was missing today. After driving 700 miles back from New York, I didn't allow enough time. But it looks like right now there's 11 missing labels, if you want to call them labels, the signage on the sidewalk. A number of them are around the common. Some of the other paths that, the Pioneer Path that crosses the street, most of those were there. I did hear, and I don't know how much weight to put on it, but I did hear that there was a property owner that didn't want that, a label in front of their property. I don't know if they removed it, but there was a couple missing along the path. I think just as a reminder, it is public and it is well within our rights to put a label down for a walking path where we see fit, but maybe another strategy is we could approach the homeowner and see if, because I don't want to have to replace, one every week or month, but we could find someone who's agreeable to the idea of a label. Another thing we could eventually do, Mike had mentioned the possibility of putting them permanently down. We're going to try a new material and see if those will stay down. A little bit suspicious that most of the ones around the commons, a couple exceptions, are gone, versus the ones on the outer perimeter seem to be, for the most part, intact. So I don't know if it, and we did our best we flame treated it. We could look at, washing it and scrubbing it, but we definitely would have to have it dry. It's a much more involved process. I do like the idea of using the labels just to get a feel, because if we, before we do anything permanent, let's just find out, if one needs to be a little bit longer, or if maybe the arrow isn't in the ideal place. I'd rather find that out after some use than cutting cement and putting something down permanent. But if you have a chance, walk the walking paths, and I'm going to try to get the flyer. We have a map printed in, so they'll be up here for someone to pick up and use. But if you get a chance, walk them, and if you have any suggestions, please let us know, and we'll update them. That's all I have.
Any questions? Okay, hearing none. Unfinished business and general orders. Ordinance number 2016-01-LNR, amending section 301.51 of the Greenhills codified ordinances regarding vehicles. Councilmember Lee.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Ordinance number 2016-01 LNR, amending section 301.51 of the Greenhills codified ordinances regarding vehicles. Whereas the uses of portable storage containers has become popular, and due to limited amount of on-street parking available in Greenhills, it is necessary to be clear that such containers are not vehicles and therefore cannot be placed on streets in the village. Now therefore be ordained by the Council of the Village of Greenhills, Ohio, Section 1, that Section 301.51 vehicles of the Village of Greenhills codified ordinances is hereby amended to read as follows. Vehicle means every device, including a motorized bicycle, in, upon, or by which any person or property may be transported or drawn upon a street or highway, except that a vehicle does not include any motorized wheelchair, electric personal assistive mobility device, or any device other than a bicycle that is moved by human power. A vehicle does not include portable storage containers or any such container that may be delivered and picked up by other means. Section 2, that this ordinance shall be in full force from and after the earliest date allowed by law. Mr. Mayor, I move that we adopt this ordinance this day, March 22nd, 2016.
Second.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded to adopt ordinance number 2016-01-LNR, and this was the second reading. Any comments, questions? Okay, hearing none, clerk call the roll.
Cabot,
Aye.
Dries,
Aye.
Halter,
Aye.
Hermes,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
Walther,
Aye.
Okay, ordinance number 2016-01-LNR, amending section 301.51 of the Greenhills Codified Ordinances regarding vehicles, passes. All right, under new business, how do we do that? Do we do a motion to?
just a motion to remove it from the agenda,
Okay.
to amend the agenda to.
Or
Right.
postpone indefinitely to,
It probably would be better just to remove it.
Okay.
fine and dandy.
I move to amend the agenda to strike item number 1 under new business.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to strike item 1 under the new business section. All those in favor, do we voice, or do you have to do it? Yeah. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Nobody's opposed, all right. Okay, moving on, ordinance number, and are we keeping this ordinance number then as 03? Okay, all right, ordinance number 2016-03, LNR, amending various sections of section 505 of the Village of Greenhills Codified Ordinances regarding vicious and dangerous dogs. That's Councilmember Lee.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move to suspend the rules requiring the reading of the ordinance 2 times on 2 separate occasions and reading the ordinance in its entirety and declaring emergency.
Yeah.
So, no.
I'll actually second that motion,
Okay.
including the emergency. Last time we talked about it being an ongoing problem, so the sooner it passes.
Okay. And then I was distracted.
Oh,
Sorry.
So what am I
there's roll call.
going to discussion, any discussion on your motion? Okay. Hearing none, roll call.
Halter,
Aye.
Hermes,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
Walther,
No.
Cabot,
Aye.
Dries,
Aye.
Okay. Motion carries. And this was a motion to suspend 2 readings and declare an emergency, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Passes. All right.
The ordinance number 2016-03 LNR, amending various sections of the section 505 of the Village of Greenhills Codified Ordinances regarding vicious and dangerous dogs. I move to adopt the ordinance.
I'll second that.
Okay, any discussion?
Could you just sum up?
need
changes.
Yeah,
We need to put the emergency clause in the ordinance.
primarily the changes were changes to the existing ordinance to add additional language relative to identifying domesticated animals rather than other types of animals that would not come under this ordinance. It also gives the municipal manager and the chief of police additional assistance to address particularly dangerous situations concerning dogs that have had a continued history of being not just a nuisance, but a danger to neighbors, both persons and other pets within the vicinity. So we've worked on this quite a while, and the chief is chief and the manager are very satisfied with the changes, and I greatly suggest that we pass this.
I have a question for the clerk. Do we need to pass something to modify this?
Yes, you do.
Okay.
To add the emergency clause.
So,
To add,
A motion to amend.
it's a motion to amend to add and declaring an emergency in the title and the emergency clause at the end of the resolution, or the ordinance.
Can you, to,
yeah.
All right.
to,
It's a motion to amend the ordinance in the title to add and declaring an emergency, and to add the emergency clause as section it would be to replace section 2 with the emergency clause.
Section 3, isn't it?
but no,
Maybe section
it would
3.
be
Section 3.
added as section
Sorry.
3 and to change section 3 to section 4?
No. it
No.
would be
No.
To
Amend.
amend section 3 to include the emergency clause.
Or to replace section 3 with the emergency clause.
And will this be a voice vote or a roll call?
It should be a roll call.
Okay.
And does the person who made the motion do it, or does it have to be someone else?
It can be anybody.
Melanie?
Thank you for wording it.
I move to amend the ordinance in the title to add and declaring an emergency, and to amend the section 3 to include the emergency clause.
I'll second that.
Okay. Been moved and seconded.
Discussion?
To add, yes, to add the emergency clause in section 3 and the emergency in the title. Any discussion? Roll call vote on it?
No, I was just going to say, could you summarize the advantage of adding the emergency clause time-wise and all that?
It goes into effect right away.
Right.
So if somebody,
We're saving, we're making this, which I think is important legislation, to, goes into effect like 30 days sooner? Is that?
It goes into effect right away.
yeah, so if somebody gets attacked by a dog tonight,
Okay,
As opposed to 30 days.
This is a
The
matter
chief
of
can
public
use it.
safety, and my
right.
Yeah.
feeling is that we ought to get this in place if we feel.
I just wanted to
Yeah.
clarify for people
Right.
to know why we're doing the emergency clause.
And we currently have a couple issues, and this
Right.
would give the chief some teeth.
yeah.
Is that what you said? Oh, sorry.
Okay. Roll call.
Halter,
Aye.
Hermes,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
Walther,
Aye.
Kavod,
Aye.
Dries,
Aye.
Okay. Motion carries. All right.
Wagging your tail did
Now a motion to pass.
now you vote on the motion to adopt.
Right.
but you already have that on the floor.
Okay. Oh, did we have a second on that?
Yes, before we had discussion.
Okay, all right. Any other questions, discussion? All right, hearing none. Have roll call for ordinance number 2016-03 L&R.
Hermes,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
Walther,
Aye.
Kavod,
Aye.
Dries,
Aye.
Halter,
Aye.
Okay, ordinance number 2016-03 L&R, amending various sections of section 505 of the Village of Greenhills Codified Ordinances regarding vicious and dangerous dogs passes and is in effect now.
And I would like to give a thank you to our clerk of council for the lovely cheat sheets we got at our last meeting that we were able to use.
Okay,
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda to address public records training.
Second.
okay, been moved and seconded to change the agenda to to introduce a motion to address public records training. Roll call? No? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries, all right.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to appoint Yvonne Kovac as the designee for all duly elected council members for public records training for 2016.
Second.
Comments, questions? Hearing none, all in favor, and is this a voice vote? Okay. Say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Motion carries. All right. And now we have a motion to convene an executive session to discuss the compensation of a public employee. And will we conduct any business after this?
I would not think so.
Calendar. Do you want
Okay.
to do the calendar before?
Yes, why don't we go ahead and do the calendar?
Do we have to move to amend the agenda to do the calendar prior to going into executive session? Because if so, I so move.
Okay. Second, somebody? All right. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Motion carries. Calendar. Your meeting?
Yeah, Monday, the 28th, 8 a.m., Streets and Services.
Okay.
Traffic and safety is Wednesday, April 26th at 6
And community development is April 13th
at 4:30.
at 4:30.
Intergovernmental Laws and Rules, March 28th, Monday at 9 a.m.
June the 8th, the Waycross meeting, and April 14th, the Commission, Recreation Commission meeting, and we'll be pending a committee meeting after that.
And Arbor Day tentatively April 29th at 10:30, to be further expanded by the next meeting.
The Commons on
Easter egg-
Sunday.
Easter egg hunt,
On Sunday.
Sunday,
2
2.
p.m.
And 2 by the fire department.
Right.
And that
And
means it'll be done at 2:01.
Yes.
So get there early.
That's the fastest minute in record, yeah.
and I don't know if the Butt Shack is going to be open and having any specials that they could run over there and check. I don't know if anybody knows for sure. I know the Troubadour is having a Easter lunch, dinner, but they require reservations, so if you come to the Easter egg hunt, you can do that. So you
The
can-
Arbor Day.
Yeah, and we have the Arbor Day on the 29th of April, March, what did I say?
April.
Yes, okay. All right,
Yes.
now we'll do Mr. Dries.
Mr. Mayor, I move to convene to executive session to discuss the compensation of a public employee.
Second.
Okay, motion carried and passed for an executive session.
We do have to do a roll call vote for that.
Oh, that's right, sorry.
Lee,
Aye.
Walter,
Aye.
Kavod,
Aye.
Dries,
Aye.
Halter,
Aye.
Hermes,
Aye.
Okay. We're now in executive session.
We also have a light on still.